The month of May 2025 marked a significant and concerning escalation in the long-standing tensions between India and Pakistan. The skies over the disputed Kashmir region, a perennial flashpoint, became the arena for a direct military confrontation involving advanced fighter aircraft from both nations. This clash was not just another border skirmish, it represented a serious test of modern aerial warfare capabilities for both South Asian powers. The events that unfolded between May 7th and May 10th, 2025 drew considerable international attention, not only due to the immediate risks of a wider conflict between two nuclear-armed states, but also because of the specific military hardware involved in the engagements. The world watched closely as these two nations deployed some of their most sophisticated aerial assets. This recent confrontation brought into sharp focus the ongoing military modernization efforts undertaken by both India and Pakistan. For years, both countries have been investing heavily in their air forces, acquiring new technologies and platforms to maintain a strategic balance or to seek an edge in a volatile region. The May 2025 incidents provided a rare, albeit dangerous, real-world test for some of these newly inducted systems, particularly Pakistan's Chinese-made J-10C fighter jets and India's French-manufactured Rafale jets. The performance of these aircraft and the associated claims and counterclaims would inevitably be scrutinized by military analysts and defense establishments globally, potentially influencing future defense procurement decisions and strategic calculations far beyond South Asia. The aerial engagements were characterized by claims of downed aircraft from both sides, adding another layer of complexity and propaganda to an already tense situation. Pakistan, in particular, highlighted the performance of its J-10C fighters, asserting that these jets had successfully engaged and shot down Indian aircraft, including the formidable Rafales. India, while acknowledging its operations against militant targets within Pakistan, remained more circumspect about its own losses, leading to a contested narrative of the air battle. This information battle, waged alongside the actual combat, is a common feature of modern conflicts, where perception can be as crucial as battlefield outcomes. Understanding this fighter jet showdown requires a careful examination of the aircraft involved, the timeline of events, the claims made, and the broader strategic context. The implications of this clash extend beyond the immediate tactical victories or losses. They touch upon the effectiveness of Chinese versus Western military technology, the evolving nature of air combat, and the delicate geopolitical balance in a region that remains one of the world's most dangerous potential conflict zones. The events of May 2025 serve as a stark reminder of the ever-present risks and the continuous drive for military superiority that defines the India-Pakistan relationship. The immediate trigger for the May 2025 aerial confrontations can be traced back to a significant terror attack that occurred on April 22, 2025. This attack, which took place in Indian-administered Kashmir, resulted in the tragic loss of 26 lives. As had often been the case in previous incidents, India swiftly attributed the responsibility for this act of violence to militant groups allegedly operating with support from Pakistan. Such accusations invariably heighten tensions given the sensitive nature of the Kashmir dispute and the history of cross-border conflict between the two nations. The scale of this particular attack prompted a strong response from New Delhi, setting the stage for a military retaliation. In response to the April terror attack, India launched a military operation codenamed Operation Sindoor. This operation, initiated in early May, involved targeted strikes against what India described as terrorist infrastructure located within Pakistani territory. One of the significant targets mentioned in reports was the Nur Khan Air Base in Rawalpindi, a major logistics hub for the Pakistan Air Force. The Indian strategy appeared to be a punitive expedition aimed at degrading the capabilities of militant groups and sending a strong message to Pakistan. Such cross-border strikes, while not unprecedented, always carry the risk of rapid escalation as they challenge the sovereignty and military red lines of the targeted nation. Pakistan, faced with Indian military action on its soil, responded by scrambling its own air force. The Pakistan Air Force, PAF, was put on high alert to defend its airspace and potentially retaliate against Indian incursions. It was during this period, specifically between May 7th and May 10th, that the most intense aerial engagements occurred. Pakistan claimed that its newly acquired Chinese-made Chengdu J-10C Vigorous Dragon fighter jets played a crucial role in intercepting and engaging Indian aircraft. This marked the first significant combat deployment of the J-10C by Pakistan, a development closely watched by international military observers. The sequence of events, the initial terror attack, India's retaliatory Operation Sindoor, and Pakistan's subsequent military response, followed a familiar pattern of escalation often seen in the region. However, the use of advanced fourth-generation plus fighter jets by both sides signaled a potentially more dangerous phase of confrontation. The willingness of both India and Pakistan to deploy these high-value assets underscored the seriousness of the situation. The international community, wary of the potential for a larger conflict between the nuclear-armed neighbors, quickly called for de-escalation and restraint from both sides, hoping to prevent the crisis from spiraling out of control. The Chengdu J-10C Vigorous Dragon represents a significant step in Pakistan's efforts to modernize its air force and reduce its reliance on Western, particularly American, military hardware. This aircraft is a Chinese-developed 4.5-generation multi-role fighter jet designed to compete with contemporary Western fighters in terms of avionics, weaponry, and overall performance. Pakistan began inducting the J-10C into its air force in recent years, viewing it as a capable platform to counter India's growing air power, especially after India's acquisition of the Rafale. The May 2025 clashes provided the first true combat test for Pakistan's J-10Cs, a moment of great anticipation for both Islamabad and Beijing. The J-10C is equipped with an active electronically scanned array AESA radar, which provides superior target detection and tracking capabilities compared to older radar systems. It can carry a variety of advanced air-to-air and air-to-ground munitions, including the highly touted PL-15 long-range air-to-air missile. The PL-15, with its reported extended range, is considered a significant threat to adversary aircraft, including tankers and airborne early warning and control (AEW) and seaplanes. The J-10C's airframe incorporates a Delta Canard design, which offers good maneuverability. Its integrated electronic warfare suite is also a crucial component for survival in a contested airspace environment. Pakistan's decision to acquire the J-10C was driven by the need for a modern fighter to complement its existing fleet, which includes American F-16S and older Chinese-Pakistani JF-17 Thunders. The performance of the J-10C during the May 2025 incidents was heavily promoted by Pakistani officials. Reports from Pakistan claimed that these jets were instrumental in shooting down multiple Indian aircraft, including the advanced Rafales. If these claims hold true, it would be a significant validation of the J-10C's capabilities and, by extension, a triumph for China's defense industry. For years, Chinese military hardware has faced skepticism regarding its performance in actual combat scenarios compared to battle-proven Western systems. A successful combat debut for the J-10C and its PL-15 missiles against a sophisticated opponent would undoubtedly enhance their reputation on the international arms market. Beyond its technical specifications, the J-10C's deployment by Pakistan underscores a broader geopolitical shift. Pakistan has increasingly turned to China as its primary defense supplier, a trend accelerated by periods of strained relations with the United States. This strategic alignment provides Pakistan with access to advanced military technology and strengthens its defense industrial cooperation with Beijing. The J-10C is a cornerstone of this evolving defense relationship, and its perceived success in combat would further cement China's role as a key security partner for Pakistan, offering a counterweight to India's diverse international defense partnerships. The Dassault Rafale, a French-made twin-engine Canard delta-wing multi-role fighter aircraft, represents the spearhead of the Indian Air Forces IAF modernization drive. India's acquisition of 36 Rafale jets was a high-profile defense deal aimed at bolstering its capabilities against both Pakistan and China. The Rafale is considered a 4.5-generation fighter, renowned for its omnirole capabilities, meaning it can simultaneously perform a wide range of missions, including air supremacy, interdiction, aerial reconnaissance, ground support, in-depth strike, anti-ship strike, and nuclear deterrence. This versatility makes it a highly valuable asset for the IAF, intended to provide a qualitative edge over its adversaries. The Rafale is equipped with a sophisticated sensor suite, including the RBE-2 AESA radar, which allows for long-range detection and tracking of multiple targets, and the Spectra integrated electronic warfare system, which provides excellent situational awareness and survivability. It can carry a potent arsenal of weapons, most notably the Meteor Beyond Visual Range Air-to-Air Missile, BVRAM, and the Scalp cruise missile. The Meteor missile, in particular, is considered one of the best in its class, offering a very long range and a high probability of kill against maneuvering targets. These advanced systems and weapons were expected to give the IAF a significant advantage in any aerial confrontation. During the May 2025 clashes, India deployed its Rafale jets as part of Operation Sindoor, targeting locations within Pakistan. The Rafale's role would have likely included precision strikes on ground targets and providing air superiority cover for other strike aircraft. The presence of the Rafale in the Indian inventory was a key factor in Pakistan's decision to accelerate the induction of the J-10C, as Islamabad sought a comparable platform to counter the French-made fighter. Therefore, any engagement between these two aircraft types was bound to be a critical test of their respective capabilities and the training of their pilots. The reported loss of at least one and possibly more Rafale jets during these engagements, as claimed by Pakistan and partially confirmed by US officials, came as a significant development. While any aircraft can be vulnerable in combat, the downing of a highly capable platform like the Rafale would raise questions and prompt detailed analysis by both the Indian Air Force and international observers. Factors such as rules of engagement, pilot training, tactical decisions, the effectiveness of countermeasures, and the specific circumstances of the engagements would all need to be carefully scrutinized to draw accurate lessons from these incidents. The performance of the Rafale and its associated systems like the Meteor missile was under intense observation. Section 5. Clash in the Clouds, Claims and Confirmations of Losses. The aerial engagements during the May 2025 India-Pakistan clash were quickly followed by a barrage of claims and counterclaims regarding aircraft losses, a common feature in modern conflicts where information warfare plays a significant role. Pakistan was particularly vocal about its successes. Pakistani Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar reported to the nation's parliament that Pakistan Air Force J-10C fighter jets had successfully shot down 3 Indian Rafale aircraft. Furthermore, broader claims from Pakistani sources suggested a total of 5 Indian planes had been downed during the hostilities. The Pakistani Defense Minister, Khawaja Mohammad Asif, also publicly confirmed the use of J-10 jets and reiterated the claim of downing 3 Indian Rafales, underscoring the confidence within the Pakistani establishment regarding their operational outcomes. Adding weight to some of Pakistan's assertions, US officials provided a degree of independent, albeit partial, confirmation. According to reports citing these officials, on May 7, 2025, Pakistani J-10 fighter jets did indeed shoot down at least 2 Indian military aircraft. Crucially, one of these downed aircraft was confirmed to be a French-made Rafale fighter. The US officials also confirmed the use of air-to-air missiles in these engagements, lending credibility to the notion that sophisticated aerial combat had taken place. This confirmation from a neutral, high-profile source was significant, as it moved the discussion beyond purely nationalistic claims from the involved parties. India, in contrast, maintained a more reserved posture regarding its aircraft losses. Indian officials neither explicitly confirmed nor denied the loss of any Rafale jets in the immediate aftermath of the clashes. Instead, Indian statements focused on the success of Operation Sindoor in striking its intended terrorist infrastructure targets within Pakistan. The head of India's air operations made a statement emphasizing that all Indian pilots involved in the operations had returned home safely, a claim that seemed to contradict the assertions of downed aircraft if pilots were captured. The Indian embassy in China also actively countered what it termed as disinformation spread by Chinese state-backed media regarding Indian warplanes being shot down. Independent analysts and media reports attempted to piece together a clearer picture from the available information, which often remained murky due to the fog of war and deliberate information control. Some analyses suggested that at least one Indian Rafale and one Indian Mirage 2000 aircraft were likely downed during the conflict. The discrepancy between Pakistani claims, Indian reticence and third-party observations highlights the difficulty in establishing definitive facts in the immediate aftermath of such confrontations. However, the consensus emerging was that India had indeed suffered some aircraft losses, including at least one of its premier Rafale fighters, a significant event in the context of regional air power dynamics. Section 6: Technological Face-Off. Aircraft and Systems Performance. The May 2025 conflict served as a crucial real-world testbed for several advanced weapon systems deployed by both India and Pakistan. For Pakistan, the Chinese-made Chengdu J-10C Vigorous Dragon and its associated PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles saw their first major combat. The reported successes of the J-10C, particularly against India's Rafales, were hailed as a significant achievement for Chinese military technology. This performance challenged long-held perceptions in some quarters about the inferiority of Chinese-made weapons systems compared to their Western or Russian counterparts. Officials from the Chinese embassy in Islamabad reportedly expressed satisfaction with the J-10's combat debut, and the share price of Chengdu Aircraft Corporation, the J-10C's manufacturer, saw an increase, reflecting market optimism. On the Indian side, the Dassault Rafale, equipped with European Meteor beyond visual range air-to-air missiles, was at the forefront of its operations. While the Rafale is a highly capable aircraft, the confirmed loss of at least one, and potentially more, brought the performance of both the aircraft and its missile systems under scrutiny. The European Meteor missile, often lauded for its capabilities, would have its combat effectiveness re-evaluated in light of these engagements. Beyond fighter aircraft, India also reportedly utilized its Russian-made S-400 Triumph air defense system. Initial reports suggested that the S-400 performed well in its designated role, likely contributing to the defense of Indian airspace and assets during the heightened state of alert and cross-border operations. Another interesting technological aspect of the conflict was India's reported effective use of Israeli-made Harop loitering munitions, also known as suicide drones. These systems were apparently employed to neutralize Pakistani radar installations, thereby degrading Pakistan's air defense capabilities and creating safer corridors for Indian strike aircraft. This highlights the growing importance of unmanned systems and electronic warfare in modern conflicts. In contrast, Pakistan's Chinese-manufactured HQ-9 air defense system reportedly showed some vulnerabilities during the engagements, according to some analyses. This could point to areas requiring improvement in Pakistan's ground-based air defense network, or the effectiveness of Indian countermeasures. The overall technological showdown was multifaceted, involving not just the fighter jets themselves, but also their missiles, radar systems, electronic warfare suites, and supporting ground-based air defenses. The performance of each system is influenced by numerous factors, including operator training, tactical employment, integration with other assets, and the specific circumstances of the engagement. While the J-10C and PL-15 might have scored a perception victory for China, a comprehensive analysis would require more detailed, declassified information from both sides, which is often not forthcoming in such politically sensitive confrontations. The incidents undoubtedly provided invaluable combat data for all involved parties and weapon manufacturers. Section 7. Voices from the ground expert opinions on the aerial engagements. The intense aerial engagements between Indian and Pakistani fighter jets in May 2025 quickly attracted commentary and analysis from defense experts worldwide. Simon Weisman, a senior researcher at the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, aptly noted that actual combat is the ultimate test for any weapon system. Theoretical capabilities and performance in exercises are one thing, but real-world confrontations provide undeniable data on effectiveness. The J-10C versus Rafale showdown was precisely such a test, offering insights that peacetime evaluations could never fully replicate. This sentiment was echoed by many who saw the clashes as a rare window into the capabilities of modern non-Western fighter technology against established Western platforms. Yun Sun, co-director of the East Asia program and director of the China program at the Stimson Center, emphasized the need for a nuanced assessment. She cautioned against drawing overly simplistic conclusions based solely on reported aircraft losses. Factors such as pilot training, the effectiveness of command and control systems, real-time intelligence, rules of engagement, and the overall coordination of different military assets play a crucial role in the outcome of aerial combat. Sun also pointed out that the dynamics of an India-Pakistan border conflict, however serious, are different from those of a potential large-scale conflict scenario, such as a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, which would involve different scales and types of forces. Carlotta Rinaldo, an analyst at the International Team for the Study of Security Verona, highlighted the significant perception shift regarding Chinese military technology that could result from these engagements. If the J-10C's performance was indeed as effective as claimed, it could substantially boost the credibility and attractiveness of Chinese weapons on the global arms market. This is particularly relevant for nations looking for alternatives to Western or Russian suppliers. Andrew Small, a senior transatlantic fellow with the German Marshall Fund, further elaborated on this, noting the strategic benefits for China in seeing its advanced weaponry tested against sophisticated Western systems operated by a capable military like India's. Such real-world data is invaluable for China's own military modernization efforts. Xu Xiaohuang, an analyst at Taiwan's Institute of National Defense and Security Research, suggested that the performance of the J-10C and its PL-15 missiles would necessitate a reassessment of the People's Liberation Army Air Force's overall air combat capabilities. Taiwan, facing direct military pressure from China, pays close attention to such developments. However, many analysts, while acknowledging the significance of the events, also stressed that more detailed and verified information would be required before drawing firm conclusions about the definitive superiority of one platform over another. The fog of war, coupled with national narratives, often obscures the full picture in the immediate aftermath of such clashes. Section 8. Shifting Tides, Geopolitical Implications and the Arms Market. The May 2025 aerial engagements between Pakistan's J-10C and India's Rafale jets carry significant geopolitical implications, extending far beyond the immediate tactical outcomes on the subcontinent. One of the most prominent repercussions is the potential impact on the global arms market. The reported success of the Chinese-made J-10C fighter and its PL-15 air-to-air missiles, especially if validated against a sophisticated Western platform like the Rafale, could significantly enhance the attractiveness of Chinese military hardware worldwide. Nations seeking cost-effective yet capable alternatives to Western or Russian equipment might view Chinese systems with increased interest, potentially altering established arms trade dynamics and boosting China's defense export revenues. This incident also provided invaluable data for China's ongoing military modernization. The People's Liberation Army is undergoing a rapid transformation, aiming to become a world-class military force, capable of projecting power and defending China's interests globally. A key aspect of this modernization is the development and deployment of advanced indigenous weapon systems. Seeing the J-10C perform in a real combat scenario against Western equivalent technology used by India offers China a unique opportunity to assess its capabilities, identify areas for improvement, and refine its operational doctrines. This is particularly relevant as China aims to achieve the capability for an air and land invasion of Taiwan by 2027. According to some assessments, the J-10C's performance has direct implications for Taiwan's defense planning. Chinese state media and commentators were quick to highlight the J-10C's alleged successes, suggesting that Taiwan should be concerned about the People's Liberation Army Air Force's growing capabilities. While analysts cautioned that the context of an India-Pakistan skirmish differs greatly from a potential cross-strait conflict, the demonstrated effectiveness of Chinese fighter technology undoubtedly adds another layer to Taiwan's complex security calculus. It underscores the urgency for Taiwan and its partners to continuously adapt their defense strategies and capabilities to counter the evolving threat from the mainland. Interestingly, despite the military dimension involving Chinese hardware, The diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the May 2025 crisis highlighted China's limited influence in mediating conflicts involving India and Pakistan directly. The United States reportedly played a key role in facilitating a ceasefire between the two South Asian rivals. While China expressed support for a comprehensive ceasefire and called for calm, its ability to act as a primary peace broker in this specific instance appeared constrained. This underscores the complex interplay of military prowess, economic influence, and diplomatic leverage in international relations, where technological success on the battlefield does not always translate directly into diplomatic dominance in all regional disputes. Section 9. Lessons learned. Impact on military strategy and future procurement. The May 2025 fighter jet showdown between India and Pakistan will inevitably lead to significant introspection and reassessment of military strategy and future arms procurement for both nations. For Pakistan, the perceived success of its J-10C fighters is likely to reinforce its strategic shift towards deeper defense cooperation with China. Over recent years, Pakistan has increasingly relied on Chinese arms, with estimates suggesting that over 80% of its military equipment now originates from China. This includes not just fighter jets like the J-10C and JF-17, but also naval vessels, air defense systems and missiles. The combat performance of the J-10C will likely accelerate this trend, diminishing Pakistan's historical reliance on US-supplied weaponry, such as its F-16 fleet, which notably was not reported to be used in these specific engagements. For India, the loss of even one Rafale jet, a prized asset, would trigger a thorough review of its operational tactics, pilot training programs, and the effectiveness of its aircraft's defensive systems and countermeasures. While India has been diversifying its arms imports, moving away from its traditional heavy reliance on Russian equipment by acquiring Western platforms like the Rafale, this incident may prompt a re-evaluation of the technological balance in the region. India will likely seek to understand the exact circumstances of the Rafale loss and explore ways to enhance its survivability and effectiveness against emerging threats, potentially through upgrades or further acquisitions of advanced support systems like AEW and C aircraft and electronic warfare platforms. The conflict also highlighted the evolving nature of aerial warfare, where beyond visual range engagements, sophisticated missile technology, electronic warfare, and the integration of unmanned systems play increasingly critical roles. Both India and Pakistan will be keen to absorb the lessons from these clashes to refine their air combat doctrines. The performance of specific missile systems, such as Pakistan's PL-15 and India's Meteor, will be closely analysed, potentially influencing future missile development and procurement choices. The effective use of loitering munitions by India to suppress enemy air defences also underscores the growing importance of such asymmetric capabilities in modern conflict scenarios. Ultimately, the May 2025 incidents serve as a stark reminder of the ongoing arms race in South Asia. Both India and Pakistan are locked in a cycle of action and reaction, where advancements by one side spur the other to seek countermeasures and new capabilities. This dynamic fuels regional instability and increases the risk of future confrontations. The international community, particularly major arms suppliers and global powers, will be watching closely, as the lessons learned from this fighter jet showdown could influence not only regional security but also the global landscape of military technology and strategic competition for years to come. The need for robust de-escalation mechanisms and dialogue remains paramount in this volatile region.